All right, ladies and stand by. Here we go.
Welcome, fight fans, to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast. Your Fight Talk Authority. Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escobedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Hey, we're live, everybody. The Fighters Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. The Fighters Voice, the only voice that matters. As you know, we're simply knocking out the competition. We got a great show for you this evening. As always, we got the co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, the Apache Kid, Mr. Cole Escobedo. And our guest tonight, rumor has it, and those rumors are true, the man who would know this inside and out, MMA matchmaker himself, the legend, Mr. Richard Goodman, is our guest tonight. He's going to break down UFC, possibly going to the island in Lemoore, California, or possibly, or is it, yes, going to be called what? Fantasy Island, where all your dreams come true. Welcome to the show, Richard. How we doing, my man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
First of all, Rich, we spoke yesterday a little bit, man. How we doing? Because I know you had to go to the dentist, get some gold teeth, put in. You had to set up the grill.
Yeah, the platinum's not in yet, so I just had a wisdom tooth pulled instead.
Okay, man. Well, we'll set up that grill. Cole, how we feeling, my man?
Oh, not bad. Tired. That's about it. Cloudy out. It's quiet. What?
Tired of what, my man? You sleep like a cat.
Yeah, no, dude, I rarely sleep. It's just gloomy out and it's rainy and it's just a quiet day, man. Whole week's gonna be like this.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Hey, Rich, let's dive right into it, man. First of all, let's talk about what I've been hearing, what the whole world's been hearing. I mean, because this is worldwide. We're talking about UFC coming to California. We want to call it the island of Lemoore, California. Talk to us about what you've been hearing and what you know.
Yeah, I think people are confusing the two. They do have an island as well that they're going to be using, but that's going to be for international fights. So the Tachi will be for the next 4 events that are inside the United States, and while they're securing the island for the international fights.
Rich, I mean, someone like you is so valuable because you got insight. You're all like that fly on the wall with the headset on. I mean, and plus you know the sport and you got your connects, man. I mean, how much do you miss live events and how much do you embrace just the opportunity to rest?
I miss working. Obviously, it's a love, passion more than it is a job. So, I mean, I've always enjoyed working live events and, enjoying the shows and just seeing the people grow, and especially from the community in the areas. But I mean, honestly, I'm loving it right now. I'm home with my 3 kids. I got twin boys that are 10 months old, and I got my 2.5-year-old. And I mean, I'm like the house nanny right now. These kids love me. So it's been a great feeling.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you're embracing the situation that we have. We really don't have a choice here, but to make the most of it. But what everybody wants to know, man, and my inbox has been going off, and I want to leave it to the expert. They keep asking me, even though they've heard it or they're still not sure. UFC 249 coming to Lemoore, California. Talk to us about how that's going to take place. What are the do's and what are the don'ts?
Yeah, so it's definitely going to happen. And basically what's happening is the entire casino is already on lockdown anyways with no customers or whatnot. So pretty much the UFC is just renting the entire venue, the entire casino. So that way that'll keep contact away from the fighters and anybody involved in the production of the show, everything. So the only people that'll be allowed on that casino premises are those people involved in the show. They won't be going to and from the casino. They won't have any outside contact with anybody. Everything's going to be done in-house right there. So these guys will just be basically in their hotel rooms and, you know, come out to eat. Maybe that's about it. But other than that, it's a complete lockdown over there.
Cole, we've been talking about this off air, on the air, and we agreed that if it was going to happen, and we even joked around about it. We said, wouldn't it be cool if they came to Lemoore? And what's your take now, knowing that it is fact, no longer fiction?
I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it's happening, period, to be honest. But I had heard them days ago talking about looking at the West Coast for some locations. I think it's pretty cool. They picked a pretty good spot. The venue size is right. They can pretty much do it however how small they want to set up. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Cole. You kind of went in and out towards the end.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Okay, yeah, it's probably, you know, too tired and he hit the wrong button. But no, he'll be back. But
He hit the snooze button.
He did. Rich, you've always been well connected, well respected in the whole MMA industry, and I know you're itching. I know because you live for this stuff. I mean, I know you wish you were right there in that mix, and I know you still are, kind of like on the down low. So I appreciate you coming on the show and tell us what you do know. How much do you miss it looking back at those good days at Lemoore, California?
I mean, that's a big part of my life. I mean, I spent from 24, 25 years old until, you know, just recently, where my whole life revolved around these fights and the MMA community and everything involved with it. So, I mean, like I said, it's a huge, you know, chunk taken away. It's like losing a child. You know, it's tough. And, you know, I've just been doing other things to try to pass the time while we get everything figured out and situated. You know, I finished my AS degree in business. I'll be graduating in May. So that way I can start working on my bachelor's degree. And then, like I said,
congratulations.
Thank you. And enjoying the time with my family. Like I said, it's great. I mean, these kids are the first thing I see in the morning, from waking them up, feeding them, changing diapers, you know, getting them ready, taking one to daycare during a couple days a week, picking them back up, lunches, you know, everything until my wife gets off work. She's still an essential employee, so she's working Monday through Friday still.
There you go. Hey, when you first heard a rumor about this, and when you first knew that Lemoore was one of the governing bodies that would be looked at by the UFC, Dana White, what was your whole take on that? How did you feel about that? Did you know strongly that, like, okay, you know what, we actually got a shot, this could happen? When I say we, because you'll forever be part of that Tachi Palace Fights family and all the good and all the bad and all the memories at Lemoore, California.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was a slim chance just because there's quite a few casinos that have a little different setups as far as venue-wise. So I was a little bit worried about the production possibility in the Tachi because the UFC pit is huge, you know, and just the size of everything inside there is pretty small compared to what they're used to doing. But when you're a billion-dollar company, you figure stuff out, you know.
So what's it like? What's it going to be like for the fighters? Describe what's it going to be like for the fighters. I mean, people want to know, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. As we're talking right now, stuff is popping up right now. People have asked me, Richard, is it really going to happen? What are the fighters are going to do? Is Dana White going to be there? Can fans go? They're even asking, when do the tickets go on sale? What's the pay-per-view cost? I mean, it is going crazy. You got to remember, Dana White is a genius. He dares to be great. That's why he's in the position that he's in. He's not a stranger of Lemoore, California. And we've been thirsty for these MMA, boxing, combatant waters. And Dana White right now is giving us the opportunity to drink from the fountain. He's giving it all to us right now. So, I mean, let's keep it real. We've been thirsty. We've been watching reruns. We've been thinking, okay, what's going to happen next? Dana White said, you know what? I'm going to push the envelope as far as I can push it. So What do you think that fly on the wall would say if they were there during those negotiations?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to be allowed to be there. There won't be no ticket sales. There's not going to be, like I said, even myself, I wouldn't be able to drive down there and go watch the show. They need to limit the access to people so they don't have any possibilities of contracting the viruses or spreading it out. I'm sure they did full testing on all the fighters. And like I said, the fighters are going to be secluded basically to the casino. There's no people coming in and out of the casino since it's closed down. So the only contact they'll have is with the people that all travel there, that have all been tested, all been taken care of. And so, I mean, it's as safe as you could possibly get. I mean, Dana's doing it the right way. And, you know, a lot of people might have, you know, their stank about it. But, I mean, this guy's giving people an opportunity to still support their families and work and have jobs. So, unlike a lot of other places, you know, these guys aren't millionaires like the NBA where they could sit out for a whole year because they made $30 million last year. Or the NFL or baseball or any other major league sport. I mean, there's very few guys that could afford to just sit sideline, you know, for this long, you know. So I think Dana's doing the right thing. And also, you know, I think he's proven a point a little bit. You know, I think Dana's a billionaire. You know, he's got contacts with the best medical teams and the top level staff. And, you know, so I'm sure he knows something about the virus that we might not see on the mainstream media, to where it doesn't really affect or worry him like it does to the average, you know, CNN customer.
You know, I got a question that's coming in right now from Jason Alexander. He's asking, when will fighters arrive? Will they be doing some training on the casino itself? Are they doing your weigh-ins? Are they having a face-off?
Yeah, they'll have everything on site. The facility already has a workout room and a gym and a sauna. And so, plus, when you figure all the other rooms that are going to be available, like where we host our weigh-ins, I mean, all those places could be set up to be used for training facilities and workout spots with your partners. They'll be holding weigh-ins there. Nobody's going to leave that venue once they arrive there. I don't believe any of the fighters are there yet. I'm pretty sure they usually come in about Saturday to Monday. So I'm assuming they'll probably all start arriving next week. I mean, because in reality, they're still not actually releasing the venue name. I mean, I don't know if you watched ESPN this morning when Dana White was on First Take and a few other shows this morning and still refused to release the location of the place.
Cole, when you hear that Dana White still has not released it to the world, to the public, and yet we have a man here on the Fighters Voice Kick-Ass podcast just continuing to tell all, because his motive is that he loves the sport, knows the sport, and hey, black and white, he's a fan and a supporter of the Fighters Voice Kick-Ass podcast.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. That is weird that he won't really announce the location. It's a little odd at this point. Maybe he's just nothing. Maybe everything hasn't been quite dotted and I'd yet. The big question I was taking away from this is I saw that. So then why do you think he's ignoring?
The reason is for backlash.
Okay.
You don't need soccer moms
participation in large events.
People out there standing there crying, "Oh, how dare you bring this virus to our city," and blah blah blah. You know, there's always going to be those people. You know, even back in the day when Todd Windorf and I and Cage Combat did that show at Woodward Park in Fresno. I mean, you had Soccer Mom Central trying to protest the fights. So you can only imagine how many of these crybabies are going to be trying to, you know, even though it doesn't affect them. The way I look at it, if you isolate yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else around you does because you're isolated and you ain't going to come in contact with nobody. So if you want to isolate yourself and you got an issue, stay home. Don't worry about what the rest of the people do because they're not going to affect you if you isolated yourself.
Very well said.
So then CSAC had come out and said that they're not sanctioning any of the fights that they happen at the Palace. They're not sanctioning that event, anything like that. So do you feel that that's going to affect fighters' records at all as far as if they win or lose the fight? Do you think it's going to matter in some of their minds? They're like, oh, well, I know even if I fight, it's not going to matter on my record because the CSAC's not sanctioning it, so they don't even care about the results at that point.
No, it's not going to affect anybody. I mean, in reality, the UFC is above these results. So you know it's so what if it says non-sanctioned fight on mixedmartialarts.com or on ShareDog or whatever website. All that matters is these guys got the win or the loss, got the paycheck, and it shows up on their UFC fighter database stats. So I mean that's really the key there. And you know there's going to be the utmost requirements. The UFC requires fighters to do MRIs even when the state doesn't require it. You know, so that as far as the UFC being on top of medicals and everything else, they're just going to bring in their own. You know, similar to what Tachi did, bring in our own judges, our own doctors, all that work for commission places, and do it ourselves. You know, they're still going to have the same insurance. They're still going to have the same treatment. They're going to have everything. So I mean, in reality, Dana White doesn't need this commission. He just has to use them because he's not on tribal property very often, and these venues aren't big enough to hold a real show like he'd want to. But since they don't require any fans, you can hold it anywhere, you know, so.
You know what? Who's the winner? Us, the fans, us that are thirsty.
Yeah,
and of course,
absolutely.
You're always going to have these soccer moms, these Monday quarterbacks pointing the finger.
Karen.
But I tell you what, Rich, if they were involved, they'd be wearing their suit. They'd be posting. They'd be telling the whole world that they're involved. People just want to point the finger no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. You know, like I said, if it was up to those people, this planet would just be shut down every day of the week because either pollution or something else, you know. So they're always going to find an excuse to why this shouldn't happen, or it's violent, or, you know, you can't please everybody in this world, and that's just how it works, you know. So you got to do what's best for yourself sometimes, and you got to do what's best for your team. And I think Dana White's, you know, not only – I think this is a big opportunity for him, though, because can you imagine how many eyeballs he's going to get now that it's the only sporting event going on in the entire world?
Exactly. I agree. And I don't know how true this rumor is. Like I said, I know people that 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 know Richard Goodman. I was hearing that during this time, Dana White was not only going to do MMA, because you know it's been rumored that he wanted to do some boxing, that he may even bring boxing to Tachi Petlaw to Lemoore, California. What's your take when you hear that?
It won't happen anytime soon. His main focus is building up his brand, and he's taking advantage of why he can right now just to put some televised events on. It would be a lot tougher for him to do the boxing scenario just because, you know, most of the top-level fighters are with major promotions. So if he were to try to do a boxing event right now, unprepared, with no fans, no nothing, it's going to be hard to get fighters that are already on deck. Boxers aren't like MMA fighters. They're not on deck ready to go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most boxers that are on that level, they require training camps and stuff. It's very rare that you see a boxer who's on the top of his game step in on short notice to take a fight. You know, there's not many Justin Gahey's in boxing.
Or, hey, let's give a shout out, or a Joe Soto to take an event hours before that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not taking away anything from boxing, because the fight requires a lot more training, you know, as far as perfecting one thing is a lot harder to do than just being good at a bunch of things, you know, because you know what's happening. You don't have to, you know that they have these specific punches, specific combos. Everybody's got the same book to read from. It's how you interpret it. You know, it's almost like the Bible.
Yeah, there's only one Bible, my man. Or you want to throw that Kiran in the lake. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Hey, Cole, Cole, when hearing this right now, as a former fighter, as a fan, if you got the call, say you were in your heyday and said, hey, Cole Escovedo, we need you on this card. We want you on this card. What would be your concerns, and how tough a decision would it be for you to enter that cage?
It's really not that hard of a decision if you think about it, because you're going to get paid, and then after the fight, you can afford to just stick yourself in a hotel room for like a week and see if you have any symptoms show up, or if you test positive or anything before you go to your family. Like, realistically, you can pull that off. So in that time frame, you just sit there and stay in a hotel room with a bunch of food for a week and just sit it and wait and say, oh, okay, I tested negative. I can go home and see my family now. So if I were in that golden type scenario, you'd be silly to say no, really, you know, because you're doing them a favor and they'll remember that. So
I don't know if they'll remember it, but they definitely will take care of you for that one particular situation, because it seems like they're very forgetful for people who have stuck their mouths out and you know, a lot of guys take L's from stepping up and doing them a favor, and next thing you know, they're cut. You know, Joe's a great example. Joe Soto fought all of his fights on last-minute notices, flew to Brazil, flew to Mexico, stepped up for TJ Dillashaw. But if you don't win, it counts on your record, and they don't even take into consideration the fact that you took some of those L's trying to do them a favor. You're still cut.
that happens too.
Hey, you know what?
So
I do want to say this. I do want to say this, man. And I do want to say this for Joe Soto, and if he is listening, George Lucas, Sylvester Stallone, my dude who made Creed 2 and is going to make Creed 3, any producer out there, movie engineer, ladies and gentlemen, we got to have, it's a must before he takes his last breath, to have the Joe Soto story. We got to put that in limelight. We got to put that in Hollywood. Honestly, Rich, we got to make that happen.
Yeah.
We do. It gets overlooked. It's a Cinderella story. Had he won, okay, he'd be on every talk show in the world. But the fact is, he was a winner when he accepted it and took it to, at that point, an undisputed, untouchable champion who was in the cage. Yeah. I don't ever want that to be overlooked. That has to go down to the archives. That has to go down to one of the main features and possibly Hall of Fame decisions for the UFC. Joe Soto taking that fight.
Yeah, and just the journey he took to get to that position, you know, from having his retina detached, having to start from scratch all over again. Took him like 7 straight wins before the UFC finally gave him a chance on a short notice fight. You know, so I mean, the guy's story is just incredible, from, you know, like I said, being a #1 recruiter out of high school for wrestling to making one bad mistake, you know, on a senior night and punching somebody in the face, and, you know, and totally changing his whole direction for a bit, where he had to do so many different things to get to where he's at. I mean, the kid's incredible. He's a great person. And I mean, like I said, he's one of my best friends when it comes to this stuff in this business world. I mean, there's not many Joe Sotos out there.
No, and he has a beautiful heart, and he's always giving, and he's always willing to give advice to these new fighters, these new wrestlers. Mm-hmm. He always takes time to just be that people person.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, his heart's as big as they come, and you know, I've been blessed to have, you know, a great relationship with him throughout the years. You know, coming from the same city and stuff, and just coincidentally working at the casinos and being in a position to be able to help him out. You know, so you know, it's just been amazing to get to know him and his family, and they're awesome people, and they deserve the best.
Hey, Cole, I want to ask you this, man. I want to go back to, because you're a former fighter. You still have fight left in you, man. What do you think that conversation is like when these fighters go home and say, hey, they talk to the family, they talk to their sons, their daughters, their wives, and said, hey, baby, hey, family, hey, kids, I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to make this happen.
Well, I think he froze again.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, I only
like that. Oh, what was that, Cole? Okay. Well, Rich,
yeah,
you know that got to be a tough conversation.
Yeah, you know, I don't think it's as bad as what we think, you know, to be honest, because, I mean, you've already been isolated with money, and I'm sure some of these people are ready to get a break. You know,
no, they are. They are. I bet.
And I've yet to meet a woman that's sad about you going out to get a paycheck. You know.
No, especially right now, man. I mean, times are tough, and you know who's making pretty good. And just to change it up, as far as making ends, is a beautician and a barber. They're still making it happen, man. They're hustling.
Yeah, no, my barber comes to my house. Rich. Yeah, mine comes to my house and cuts in my garage.
There you go. It's happening. And a big shout out to Salu Lomas a former fighter. He's making it happen in his garage. And you know what? As you walk in his garage, he's sanitizing your hands. He's giving you a mask, and he's saying, "Hey, let's make it happen. Let's have some fun. Let's embrace it." He actually went to his barbershop and put the light inside of his garage. You know, the light with the spinning. It looks like a like a
business
freaking, Christmas candy cane.
Yep. Oh yeah, no.
See,
I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't be.
No, exactly. See, now, Cole Escovedo was cutting hair. He'd have like a disco ball and have like a porn site, you know, set up so he can, like, you know, email everybody that's potentially worthy of getting pornographed.
Stay off my DMs,
man,
Cole.
Cole, you there, Cole? Poor Cole. Cole, you there, my man?
Dude, my stuff's going like in and out, and I'm in on like the times of those senses.
Okay, well, big shout out for AT&T and Cole. Those government phones, that's usually what happens.
Yep, you better take that singular device back.
My man, Cole, and I love that dude. Hey, Rich,
it's really windy,
about
cloudy and Clovis and stuff right now. This is crappy weather.
Hey, Rich, about 3 weeks ago, before we shot our last show in studio, right? And I told our guests, I said, "Hey, go and come to the studio." And Cole just gave me this look like, oh my gosh, he was getting ready to rough me up, man. He goes, "No, you said they were gonna call." So when I said they were coming to the studio, he just gave me that look of death.
Yeah,
Cole,
it's all right, Cole. You'll be okay. You'll be okay, brother. I promise you that.
Cole, you still there? He is, huh? Cole, I really need you there. You there, buddy?
Barely.
Okay, hey, ask Richard Goodman a question. Okay, ask Richard a question because I'm about to pull a Chris Honeycutt right now.
He's gonna what?
Hey,
the honey badge
Cole.
is what?
Yeah, ask him something real quick.
You're gonna go Badger?
I'm gonna go pull a Chris Honeycutt right now.
Okay, go Badger.
Yeah, I am. So be right back. Ask him a question.
All right, Rich, I'll try to make this work. Do you having the next 4 events out at the Palace affect things like what you're going to be allowed to go to their gyms now, where they weren't allowed to before because he was doing fights, whereas now UFC is going to do their next 4 events at full roster of fighters is going to need like gyms to go train at. Do you think have to have those restrictions?
Yeah, they're going to be fully restricted. Nobody will be leaving that facility to go train anywhere. They're going to have everything on site they need, and which the UFC will produce that, no problem. I mean, if the UFC needed to, they can pull up a big ass trailer, you know, and set you up with your own gymnasium. Those guys got everything that money can buy. So I have no doubt the fighters are going to be well taken care of, and it's just going to be another day in the office for them, aside from not having fans and, you know, and not being able to leave to go walk around town, and which, I mean, probably don't want to here anyway.
Hey, Rich.
Yes, sir.
You go Badger?
Yep. What's that? I can't see it.
I've been thinking about you.
Yeah. Well, I can't put what I got on the screen, so.
Wow. Hey, yes, you can. This is Fighters Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. It's a whole different show than Tuesdays.
Plus, with this wisdom tooth being just pulled, I'm on restrictions.
Okay.
So I'm surprised I can talk right now. I got 2 sets of gauze on both sides of my mouth right now.
Yeah, wisdom.
And you know what? That's why that's that fighter in you, Rich. You continue to still want to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to be on the show. I'm going to make this happen." Because I was blowing you up earlier, and I'm thinking my man's probably sleeping.
Yeah, I dozed off after the appointment for sure on the way home and rested for a bit. I set my alarm for 5 o'clock though, just to get up to make sure I got, you know, I got a number of respect for you guys and for anybody, you know, that's involved in this business. So you know, unless I'm in the hospital dying, I'm going to try to do my best to accommodate as many people as possible and be there for them. And, hopefully one day that, you never know, it might return the favor in some other ways,
Oh,
You've always been
absolutely.
good to
Hey,
me,
I
though.
just
You've
want
offered me tickets to fights and stuff, and you've always tried to hook me up with boxing stuff. And so, I'm always here for you, brother.
I appreciate that, and I'll continue to do so. Just so you know, those of you guys that are listening that I canceled you guys tonight, those 2 people I canceled, you got to understand, man, when I got somebody about today's event that's going to happen, I got to get that on. And like I said, I'm going to make that up to you Tuesday. We're going to talk about it. We're going to blow it up. And it even worked out for you too. So you guys can continue to take those extra hours that you've been offered to work those overtime hours. And we're talking about some boxers, some guys we had coming on the show. But Rich, I had to get you on, man. Yeah, no, I had to get you on because you talked to me freely. You're very confident in what was going on. You said, look, Richard, let's just cut through it. It's going to happen. It's happening. It's done. It's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Oh, yeah. It's done. I'm sure if you come out there next week, you'll probably see production trucks and stuff. But I'm assuming they're going to block off the entryway to even drive through the parking lot is what I would assume. So you'll probably get turned around before you even get to the premises because technically, the tribal owns that whole land. So if they wanted to stop you coming down the street, they could.
Well, I'll probably get turned around because I'm at least going to drive down there, try to get some content. And part of my content getting turned around. So at least everybody knows that I tried for the family. I'm sorry, for the fans, the fighters and supporters, because that's what we do, man. I'm going to stay in my car. I'm going to be smart about everything. But at the same time, at least get some content from afar. I do respect Tachi Palace. I respect everybody there, everybody on the tribe, everybody that I've met through you, Rich, because you've opened doors for us, and we continue to grow because of people like you that have took the risk, took the chance, and said, okay, these guys act professionally. They're not out there having every glove signed. They're not taking 10 pictures with their whole family. They're taking care of business. They're in and they're out. And, the rest is history. Rich, you gave us an opportunity.
Hey, like I said, I'm glad I can help in any way, shape, or form, man. Especially people from this area. That's been my number one goal from the beginning. I'm not a hater. There's a lot of haters in this business. I promise you that. But I just keep them on the down low. But there's a bunch of haters in this motherfucker. I'll tell you that.
Yes, there is. Cole, I know you have your run-ins with those haters, and at the same time, you've been able to move mountains when it came to being persistent and getting done what you needed to get done. Cole, let's look back. You took your whole career into your own hands and made some moves that most managers or agents didn't want to make. There was the risk, but you got your opportunity and you ran with it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. It's not just in combat sports, it's with any sports really, or just in general. It could be a promotion at work that you want. I don't really think it's restricted to just, fighting and doing something with your career. It's just doing something with your life or your career, so to speak. So it's like maybe your manager, maybe you need to ask for that raise, that bump in the company or something because you've earned it. So yeah, you got to make waves. You got to do some things that are a little out of the box sometimes so you get noticed. The real trick though is getting noticed without getting over noticed, I guess, is the way to look at it. You want to be the squeaky wheel, but you want to be just loud enough to get heard but not to get replaced. I guess it's a trick, man.
Yeah, Cole's right. If you really look at when you look at guys ranked like 7 through 15, some of those guys make more money than half the fighters because they're smart about it. They're not just looking to be the champ that day. They want to get 10 wins before they get there because they know once you lose 2 or 3, you're done. And once you make it to that plateau, you're expected to fight all those guys. And if you lose to all those guys, you might as well be, closing your bank account because you're done. But you got guys like Alex Caceres, who's like, 15 and 14, but, has 20 UFC fights, is making more money than half the guys on the card because, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Never fight titles or anything, always fighting undercard fights and making money and building that. Your money goes up as you win, period.
Pretty much, yeah. The more fights you win, you could win a couple, go up, lose one, then win a couple more. Contract will go up, yeah.
Yeah, you're better off going 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, almost than you are going 3-0 and going straight to a top 5 guy because that money's going to be the same.
Pretty much, yeah. You're working your way up the ladder faster, so you're not going through your contract numbers as fast.
Exactly, and longevity is the key. This is probably one of the few sports where longevity, you could be in and out in 1 year.
Pretty much, if you get the right fights.
In any other major sport, baseball, football, basketball, once you made it there, even if you're a shitty-ass ball player, you can still ride the pine for 10 years.
Yeah, and still pull a paycheck, yeah.
Yep, you know what I mean? This one, you don't produce, you don't get paid, you're gone. You're done. It's the shortest living longevity for a career than any sport in the world.
The highest based sport.
Yeah. And so, being smart about your career is most important.
Hey, Rich, I just got a question coming in right now from Bill Coddington. He's asking, will a big name like possibly a Conor McGregor, will they ever take a fight such as this that's going to take place at Tachi Palace, Lemoore, California?
I would say yes if it came down to it. But right now, definitely not because of the travel restrictions. That's one reason why they secured this venue in the United States. It's basically going to be all fighters from the United States or international fighters that are already in the United States. That's the private island is going to be for the Conor McGregor type fights, but I don't see it happening anytime soon, But I mean, it would make sense because he's the biggest pay-per-view draw.
Well, here's the thing with that private island. He's touting this as his big old, we're going to have all of our international fights there, this and that. That's dandy and all because you're giving them an international place to fight. At the end of the day, what about those guys whose countries won't let them back in? They're like, dude, you went out, you're not coming back in. Like, what about those guys? Like, you get your Khabibs and stuff. They're probably not going to get
it. Khabib's sitting on about $50 million, so I think he can live pretty much anywhere he wants to at this point. And plus, he already has, a home in San Jose or whatnot for when he trains with, AKA and those guys. So for the most part, most of these guys. What's that?
Isn't Khabib sitting in Russia right now?
Yeah, he's stuck in Russia right now. But here's the thing: he's not going to be able to get on no regular plane. But I bet your ass, if a private plane out there from a billionaire, I guarantee you, he can leave the country.
I mean,
I heard that.
That's early. You know what I mean? It becomes a who's who of who can and can't leave the country under quarantine.
Well, that's just how the world works, though. I mean, you look at it right now. Most of the people that are middle class are the ones out of work right now. If you're a billionaire or millionaire, your company's still running. And if you're a low-end worker, you're still working. It's a middle-class bamboozle right now. We're getting shafted. You know what I mean? So, and then they want to send you these penny-ass paychecks, So it's just, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It's all about who you know.
Is. That's all those things are going to be. They're going to be Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
Yeah,
for sure.
Rich, in your estimation, when do you see us being able to go outside, being able to go order lunch, go to dinner? When do you see us being able to just interact? Just take a while, throw the dice, guess.
June. Sometime in June.
Okay.
I'm saying that because of the weather. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get into political discussions over this COVID crap, but I mean, it's similar in the way of a flu to where it's going to be a seasonal type thing. And it's already been documented that above 80-degree weather and stuff, it has a hard time surviving. So you figure once it starts getting hot, it should be opened up. If it's not opened up, it's basically a political sham, to keep people home still because I mean, I personally, I would have never changed anything. I would still, I have no fear of this.
Who's Joe Exotic?
You're going to die.
Who's Joe Exotic?
Yeah.
That's from Jeremy
He's a crazy
Luchau.
motherfucker.
Well, let's talk about him right now. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but fucking Jeremy goes, ask this motherfucker about Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic's our boy. Jeremy knows we go out to the Tiger Ranch. We just stay away from the mess.
But tell us more about that. We want to know who Joe Exotic is.
Yeah, he's on the down low right now. We can't be releasing that kind of information. I'll tell you about Dana White's personal stuff, but I can't talk about Joe Exotic.
Okay, because Jeremy said, tell us about Joe Exotic and a pussy that you can hold on your lap and pet. Pussycat.
Plenty of pussycats out there. That's where my stimulus check's going. I'm going out to Joe Exotic's high, and I'm bringing home the Tiger.
Jeremy Luchau. You know what? I love that dude, man. Seriously, I love that dude. That's a cool motherfucker right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've been working this game since, we were both babies, basically, and a long road, he's doing very well for himself and making waves in the community and in his, area. He's moved up big time and he's doing good. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I'm not a hater.
Yeah. Yep. Cole, what was your reaction to that, man?
Share the wealth a little bit, though.
Yeah, thank you.
I haven't
Rich, that's what I'm saying. Rich, can I be honest with you, Rich?
Yeah.
5x9 fights. Fucking Jeremy, you can't have me and Cole fucking broadcasting that shit for you live, homie. You can't have a brother doing some like post-fight interviews inside your cage. You got to hook us up, man. Not just with some fucking mini wheat snicey sweets. Right? Oh, you got some pussy on your lap, huh, Cole? Cole Escobedo got some pussy on his lap. Cole, wait, hold on, Jeremy. Hold on, Jeremy. Keep your shit. Cole, share that pussy on your lap.
Yeah, that's Gandalf. That's my lad.
No, it's all good, man.
That's my best lad right here. This is Gandalf.
There you go. Jeremy, I'm just busting balls, bro. There you go. There you go.
I do agree with Richard a little bit as far as the expectation of time, as far as that seasonal thing and its temperature, survivability, and things like that. So yeah, it's just that. Here's the thing: our country is a very capitalist-based country and a very capitalist run as far as its survivability on the economic scale. So, type country, you're basically essentially taking a business model and you're shutting down shops. So, moving like it used to, and you barely. So that thing first for that long, but just being at a standstill, for so long, because unlike some other countries, I'm not going to name one because I'm in comes to that, but there are other countries that aren't as capitalistically based as far as economic trade and their inner social working and infrastructure of their economics.
There you
So
go.
when we come to a standstill, like, we're only going to be able to be at a standstill for so long before shit starts to crash. So that's my big thing.
Yeah, the biggest fear, which is coming true, is more people are going to suffer than actually die from this virus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as economically. Yeah, and so to me, like I said, I'm a big-hearted person. Don't get me wrong. I care about everybody. I care about the elder. I care about the sick people. I care about those people. But my point being is, if you're in that risk category, just stay home. It's simple. If you're like me, who has a 0.000.005, chance of catching it alone, and then another 0.00000.5 chance of dying from it. I should be okay to take that risk as long as I'm not putting myself to infect people who can't handle the virus. Because when you look at all the statistics and all the numbers, it's really primarily targeting older, unhealthy, same thing as the flu and pneumonias and other things, in this country. And if we shut down an entire country because of, things like this, we shouldn't be driving cars in, because you got 39 40,000 people dying in car accidents every year. You know, you got hundreds of thousands of people dying from so many different things that we just have no problem doing every day. You know? And then yet something like this, which, like I said, you take away New York statistics and look at the rest of the United States is nothing. It's all in one city. They put these big red bars up.
Point there, man.
They put these big, you know, you go look, like right now, if you go Google coronavirus in Tulare County, they'll put like a big red spot on Tulare County, but there's 23 people. You know what I mean? Like when you look at statistically, that's 23 out of 500,000 people. You know what I mean? Like, come on. And you're better off, from what I've ever learned in life, being exposed to things helps you build immunity to it. Being in the sunlight helps you build immunity to things. Sticking someone in a cold, quiet, cold place in the dark has never been something that somebody's recommended to you for health, that's going to make you healthier,
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
We don't start attacking this now, our body's used to it. We're going to be with vaccinations and a bunch of other crap, that's just going to flood the big pharma markets. I don't know about you. I haven't taken a flu shot in 20 years, and I've never got the flu. I can name thousands of people that take it all the time and get the flu still. Like, what's the point?
Well, I mean, you got a different mindset. A lot of times it's mental, man. I mean, a lot of guys, they just embrace weakness. They embrace, okay, once they see it in the media, oh, shit, let's pack up. Let's buy 100 rolls of toilet paper. Let's buy all kinds of water. And like myself, I don't want this to go out of stock, so I'm going to, like, stock up on this. But but on a serious note, Rich, let me tell you this, man. Life's going to go on. You either got to embrace it, be smart about it. You got these weirdos, these a-holes going crazy in the stores. That's what brings panic. That's what makes everybody alarmed. Just be smart about things and have some freaking common sense.
Well, yeah, it starts a domino effect. So one person goes in there and buys, 80 rolls of fucking toilet paper and all the bottles of water. So the next guy is like, oh, shit, I better get as much as I can before it sells out. So then he does it. And then the next guy, I better get all this stuff. And the next thing you know, they've hoarded it from people who can't afford to buy that much stuff at one time. And now those people are completely without it because they can't even go pick up a small sample, And it's just, I mean, like I said, I don't want to be harsh, but it's just straight stupidity, And I got friends that I've known since junior high school that won't even have contact with me. Oh, no, man, I can't be around. I have zero direct contact with people. And it's like, bro, you tell me you haven't went to a grocery store, you haven't went to a fast food place and grabbed some food out the window, you haven't ordered Grubhub and dropped the containers from the guy. Even if he leaves them at the door, it's not like you're spraying everything with Lysol before you grab your food. You know what I mean? So no matter what you do, you're always going to be in contact with somebody. So the way I looked at it, if they were going to do this, they should have went all in. Every single person on this United States planet, do not leave your house. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what it is. Stay home. But half-assing it, you get half-ass results.
You know what? I agree. Hey, Cole, let me ask you this, man. Do you think the referees are going to wear a mask?
No.
No, I think what they'll do is, I don't know, that'd be hard because what you'd have to do is you'd have to bring everybody in and pre-isolate and let them sit around for a couple of days and find out who is or isn't infected, and then you'd have to have them on the working staff. Like, that's going to be a real, logistic. Like, that's going to be really hard logistically, I think, for them to tackle that. I'm curious to see how they tackle that.
Yeah, but the good part is if you look at the NBA, Rudy Gobert was playing with it, didn't even know he had it. That's how weak the virus is to somebody healthy. You look at every basketball player that caught it. Not one of them is in the hospital dying, coughing, colds, fevers, nothing. They're all doing live stream videos telling you how dangerous it is, and they're just the lucky ones who didn't get all the other symptoms. You'll catch a few videos here and there of some person, having these terrible, conditions from it, which, like I said, with anything, I mean, I could get a cold and it could have some bad side effect on my body just because I was that unlucky. So, I mean, I base my stuff on statistics. That's how I've lived my life. I've always been a numbers guy. And, so as of this point right now, the numbers don't fear me. You know, when we start losing 3 million people in the United States, I'll start worried about it.
I mean, you got even people
that'd be
starting
pretty,
trends, Rich.
eyebrow raising number.
Yeah. You know, so
I mean, hey, Cole, Rich, you got people even starting trends. I mean, people are on like social media going crazy. I mean, you got your average Joe going to work, put your gloves on, and yet, I mean, I'm not going into detail or watch, but you got motherfuckers putting condoms on for no reason. They're not even fucking or having sex. They're just strapped just to make sure nobody coughs on their junk and they're well protected. What kind of shit is that, bro?
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's the hype.
Man.
It's the
Hey,
hype.
that's
I
some
mean,
crazy shit right there, bro.
you know, but like I said, those people are impossible to have a valid conversation with for the most part, just because and I respect them. They have their strong beliefs, and so I respect other people's beliefs. You know what I mean? So like, even though I don't agree with what's going on, I'm not out running around trying to contaminate people and shit. I'm home. I'm isolated. You know, I'm here with my family. I don't go anywhere, you know, except for to the local liquor store to grab what I need. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
other
what's
than
up.
that, I mean, I'm home, and you know, but it doesn't mean that I have to agree with them. It just means I respect other people's opinions, which is how it should be in return too. And it seems like it's more of a one-way street in those sense, because you respect their opinion and stay home and stuff, but they don't respect yours. If you want to go somewhere, they act like you're going to go out there and kill the whole planet. You know, so but like my point back to the beginning, if I'm isolated myself in my house, it doesn't matter if Cole DeVito goes to, you know, the Tiger Ranch and bangs, you know, Joe Exotic, and you go, you know what I mean, and go party with 1,000. If you don't come to my house, it don't matter.
Hey, Rich, if I do, I'll text you though, bro.
Please, just hit my private number.
I will. What is it? 6969-6969.
The good thing is, I don't think my wife could even divorce me right now. I don't think the courts would even take the application.
No, you've been blessed. You got a good woman sticking to you through thick and thin. She knows what she's in. She knows what the hell she married.
Oh yeah. No, she's a ride or die, and that's one reason why I didn't waste no time.
That's good.
You know, she's, like I said, she's basically supporting my family right now for me because I can't work. You know, she's up at 5 a.m, driving to Tiffany because she works in health and safety, doing her job. Home Friday, I'm taking care of the kids and doing all those other things, and she's taking care of me and, you know, returning the favor for, you know, all the stuff that I've done to help her get to where she's at. You know, so it's a team thing. You know, and we work together well, and you know, get married to her. You know, probably tossing dollars at the strip club with you.
Hey, Cole, before we slip out, man, I mean, you watching all these movies, these videos, because you've been home just chilling, relaxing. What do you recommend, man?
Onward was pretty cool. I'm gonna try to watch Bloodshot here in the next day or two. I haven't caught the Tiger King yet, so I'll still have to watch that and see what that whole thing's about. People are swearing by that. No, Altered Carbon did a second season. It's a lot of time to catch up. I don't really know. I'm trying not to like watch too many things. I've just been binging things in the background while I'm like hanging out with the kiddos or trying to have, you know, actual conversations and stuff. I'm trying not to get stuck in the whole plugged into the TV thing. As unavoidable as it is right now, but you know, I'm trying not to do that too much. But don't watch the Harley Quinn movie Birds of Prey. That was trash. That was hot trash. Like, that was fucking garbage.
There's a cool little show on right now on I don't know if it's on Fox or whatnot. It's called For Life. About the inmate who got a degree. It's about an inmate who was wrongfully convicted, and while he got his law degree and passed the bar while in prison. And so he starts working on people's cases, It's a cool show. I actually didn't. I had it recorded, but I hadn't watched it, so I went back last night and I watched the first 7 episodes till about 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, time is a conflict at this point, man.
Like anymore unless to play video games, you know.
Yep.
So it's a good thing I still got my PlayStation 4.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, I've been gaming like a stuck pig. It's been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm worried about like the gaming world. Like we didn't have E3 this year. We're not here. Like Christmas time is gonna be weird. Like I don't know. I don't see a lot of people spending a lot of money this Christmas.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough. That's probably about when people are starting to recoup everything they lost, you know, by about that time. So it's definitely going to hurt the economy in that sense too. But I mean, like I said, I'm not changing shit. I'm going to keep living my life, and if people don't like it, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, also, you know what? There's going to be a new movie coming out. It's called The Rick Meridian Story. It's where all these dolphins get eaten. It's where all these dolphins and fish get eaten by fucking sharks.
I'm sure Rick's the shark.
Ain't no fucking dolphin.
Beast. That's for damn
sure. He is.
Motherfucker's got his shit. He's a beast, bro. He's a beast.
He is. So, actually, he wanted to put. Hey, he wanted to put a fight on, but the government stopped his ass because that motherfucker wanted to fly to Mars and have Jose Ramirez fucking have his title fight there.
Yeah, and if he could do it, he would do it. That's for damn sure. He's a Dana White in disguise. You know what I mean?
Exactly, but it was all said and done. The Martians, they all signed the contract, but Jose's afraid of heights.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
It is.
That's going to be a problem.
And that's mad love to my man Jose and Rick. You know, just busting your balls a little bit. It's okay to smile, man.
Oh yeah, no, they're legit people, man. I was looking forward to that fight in May, you know, and it's just like I said, it's sad that you can't make a choice, you know, to go enjoy entertainment. If you choose to take that risk, you should be able to make that decision. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be based on someone else who's scared to take that risk. Like I said, if you're scared to take that risk, stay your ass at home. And if you don't go around people, it don't matter what anybody else around you's doing because you stayed home. So, you know, that's like I said, that's where I disagree with how things are going. You know, people think it's saving lives and whatnot. But no matter what, even as hard as I can isolate myself, I'm still going to cross somebody's path at the grocery store. I'm still going to touch the same door handle they opened the door with. I'm still going to grab that gallon of milk that somebody else might have touched. You know, I'm still going to hand cash over that might have been touched by someone else, and they're still going to receive my cash. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just, you know, let people make their own choices. That's why we live in America. That's why it's a free country.
Exactly. And you know what, Rich? Somebody's going to hit you up at the grocery store. They're going to say, Richard, why are you on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast when there's other podcast shows out there? And you're going to say, you know why? Because this is the hottest fucking podcast in the Central Valley. That's why.
I'm telling you, that's my fucking boy. That's why. We're 2 dicks in 1 pod.
That's right. Except the bigger one, you're going to go with the Ortiz one.
I don't know. You know, us white Europeans be hanging.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad at you. Hey, Rich, it's all the same when it's inside.
Hey, it doesn't matter. It's a race to who finishes first anyways.
Exactly, man. But you, yeah, I'll leave it there, bro. Hell yeah.
I'm a track star.
Yeah, there you are. Hey, you know what, man?
I don't lose the race. I'm too competitive.
No, well, I'll let you come first, and then, you know, second is first.
Hey, they got participation trophies these days, so you're good to go, brother.
Oh, hey, it's all good, bro. Hey, as long as I'm on that mantle, either first, second, or third, hey, it's all good, brother.
It's a prize.
It is a prize. And Cole be there. He'll be handing like the bronze medal and shit over your junk. They don't even put it around your neck. They just put it over your junk.
Yeah, I don't think Cole will be putting anything around my junk, but I'm sure he can find someone to do it for him.
If he does, he'll have gloves and a mask. I mean, that's my man. I'm busting his
he'll be in
balls.
his hazmat
We
suit.
go way back, brother.
Cole will be in that hazmat suit.
Yeah, he will. He'll have that pussy on his lap.
Yeah, dude.
with aerosol and Lysol right next to him.
Oh, shit. Only on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast. You know what you subscribe to. You know what you're listening to. And you know what? Everybody's in bed, asleep right now, but we're making it happen. Rich, it amazes me. Everybody and their grandma now has a podcast. And that's okay. That's good. That's great. I enjoy it. Because when you're that strong softball team, right? I'll say men's softball because my boy Bill Connington, he hit me up, said, Rich, don't worry. Because when you're that strong base softball team and everybody gets in the tournament, there's those teams that go 2 in a queue. Because at the end of the day, you got to deliver and you got to play and you got to make sure you give the viewers, the fans, and the followers exactly what they want and then some.
Yeah, and competition is good because it allows, if you're the only one doing it, then all you can do is be criticized. But once they see someone else come do it, now they can compare you to somebody. And once they can do comparisons, that's how you put yourself up above, is now they have something to compare to.
Not only that, Rich, UFC 249 was nationwide news. And we're the first podcast to get someone on the show with balls enough to tell the truth. And that's you, my man.
Hey, you know it. I've always been upfront with you guys. I've tried to, give you as much information as I can regarding many things, that I've, kept on the down low. But, if I can give you the first scoop, and like I said, anything I can do to help with the Valley, I'm always here.
Cole, before we exit out, man.
I'm the only one confirming it for sure. I have yet to see any person come out in public and say, yeah, it's for sure happening. It's happening.
Exactly. You've done it on social media and you're doing it on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast. I appreciate that. That's why you're on the show, man. And not only because of that, because I've been wanting to get you on for a minute, but I know you're going back to school. You got your accomplishments that you need to get in place, and we're going to make this shit happen. I need to have you on every month, bro.
Yeah, no. Like I said, after May, I'm done with my associate's degree, so at least I'll be able to take a little break now and then start working on my bachelor's, depending on what happens in the future, But, I mean, we're ready to – our bare knuckle promotion's ready to come back. We were actually going to be doing a show in April at the Four Bears Casino again, but when all this happened, we had to cancel everything. So people think that after September last year, we just shut down. We didn't. We had to reschedule January because of some situations we ran into with the state of Florida. But that wasn't mean we were done. We were actually going to be going to April, but then everything happened, so we just had to close up shop. But I promise you, by this summer, we'll be rocking and rolling again.
Hey, before I let you go, and before I hand the mic to Cole Escobedo, what's going on with my man, Big LeVar, a.k.a. Black Superman Johnson?
He's a ride or die, man, and he's loyal to the team. And LeVar is going to be a big star in the bare knuckle industry if I have anything to do with it.
Enough said. Hey, Cole, what do you want to leave the viewers, the fans, and the followers with, my man?
Just understand that if you have a jonesing for sports betting, April 18th will be your first opportunity in a while. So take note of that, my degenerate gambling friends who need to get that fix in. You will have your first sporting event to do it on. I would imagine this would be the first of what we're going to see to be new types of sporting events. I would like to see arena football would probably be the next one to try to make a push for doing empty arena sporting events, because they already have all indoor sporting events anyway in an enclosed area. So, but you got a lot of moving parts with that. So I'm curious to see the UFC's April 18th show at the Palace and how that turns out, and what the logistics of that end up becoming as far as how they do it and what the fallout is. did they do it and it went off fine? Did they have any hiccups, or did they do it and like everybody ended up getting sick? So I'm really curious to see what the logistics of that ended up being.
Yeah, and there's a possibility somebody could get sick. It's just there's risk and reward in life. You know what I mean? I can walk out to my car right now and take the risk of driving to get my family food and get killed by a drunk driver. So there's a risk reward in everything you do in life. You know what I mean? So even if they do get sick, to me, it shouldn't be something that's like, oh man, the UFC just got all these guys sick. Well, if they're still alive and they got a paycheck and they're fine, you know what I mean? Move on. Let them be. Let these guys make their money. Just like I said, I just don't understand how people are so worried about other people's business. You know what I mean? I've always grown up, don't worry about what the next thing costs. Just worry about what you got. You can only control yourself. So, stay out of people's lanes. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. If you don't want to support it, don't support it. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Nobody's forcing these fighters to do anything. Nobody's forcing the production team to do anything. If those guys didn't want to be there and collect their paycheck, they wouldn't be there. So they're there by choice. You let these people make their own choices. We don't live in a communist country. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what, Rich? I believe it's April 15th. That's that last Wednesday before UFC goes on live. Got to have you back on the show, man. We got to recap. We got to give an anticipation on what's going to happen, what's going to take place. And then we'll talk about who's going to win or lose, because we know it's going to happen. Yeah. We talked about gambling. Yeah. A lot of people are going to be betting, will it take place? Will it happen? So, being that said, I got my man Christian Print up. He's going to be on the show possibly also the week before. And, great minds think alike. And, he has his take.
I learned everything I know from him.
What's going to happen. What was that, brother?
Yeah, he taught me everything I know.
There you are. There you are. So that's going to be a great show, especially that week. Hey, man, where can we follow you? What can we expect from Richard Goodman? What's next for you?
Yeah, I don't really do much Twitter and shit. So, I have a Twitter page, but I'm just old school. I got Facebook and Instagram, my Instagram's Rich Goodman _559. And of course, Richard Goodman on Facebook. I think my friends list is already up to 5,000 though, so I don't know if I can add anybody. But all I'm doing is, like I said, just getting educated more, taking advantage of this downtime and doing some school. We're on spring break right now, but they've switched everything to online classes. So I have to do Zoom meetings every week to do my classes. And then once this, this crap dies down, I expect to see the Valor Bare Knuckle Boxing back in the mix and doing some big shows and expect to see LeVar Johnson on that show, because that's one dude that's been loyal to the team, and so we want to take care of him as much as possible. Some of these other guys jumped ships and did all these other things when they're on the sidelines anyways. We had our champ jump ship to BKFC only to be put on the sidelines anyways. So, loyalty typically pays off in the long run, so we know that we have the best talent. We did that in our first show. We brought more talent in than any of those shows combined, had more exciting fights. They're starting to try to do a tournament now. They're not doing it all in one night like us, but, you could see what we did is we put a fire up other people's asses and made them pick up their game too. Because for a minute there, those shows were just junk shows, basically. You didn't even know half the guys on the fight card. And then we come along, we put on a good ass event, and next thing you know, they're shining, Shannon Briggs or, whoever they can get to, Hector Lombard. They're dumping that money now. We made them spend their money.
Very well said. And you're speaking facts. Hey, Cole, what do we got to go? What do you got to say before we smash?
That's about it. Those who've been subscribing, I know our numbers have been going up as far as subscribers. We appreciate you guys' support. Thanks. That means the word's getting spread out there. People are watching the show and they're liking the content enough to get it spread. So keep it up, guys. We appreciate you. But that said, also remember, you share it. Tell your friends about it. Tell them to watch it. They're going to get first news, first content, like the news we delayed today about 249. So things like that. It's official. So tell your friends, subscribe. They'll get new content before all the rest of their friends. They can look smart.
Hey, I want to give a big shout out right now to no, go ahead, Rich.
Go on. I was just going to say one thing. Everybody in the community, support the show, the UFC, support the Tachi Palace. Don't sit out here and cry about them doing, people forced that casino to shut down. I don't know if you've seen. They were planning on staying open, while adding extra measures to cleanliness and everything else. But due to a bunch of, Karens, they had to close up because people just, like I said, people don't mind their own business. So if you don't like it, stay the fuck home. If you do, watch it, support it. The UFC's doing a great job. Tachi Palace, always in the mix, always willing to do things for communities and for people and give opportunities. The fight game wouldn't be where it's at if it wasn't for the Tachi Palace and the tribal council and all the people involved there. So give them a little respect, and let them make some of their own decisions as well, and support it. Don't be a hater, period.
I agree with you. My stay there have always been pleasant. My service has always been pleasant. It's nothing but pleasant people working there. They've been professional from start to finish, man. And I got nothing but, 5 stars to give to them in my book. And I want to give a shout out to Mike Rutha, working behind the scenes with Floyd Mayweather's PR person, with his right-hand man, getting him to possibly be on the Fighter's Voice Knockout podcast. Hey, Mike, keep up the good work, man. We have a podcast that's open to everybody, like legends, like Richard Goodman. Hey, it's always a wrap, and it's always a pleasure having Richard Goodman on the show. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember,
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.